Episode 14 of My Dearest starts with Riang Yum informing Jang Hyun that Gilchai is in Simyang. Gu Jam and Jang Hyun start looking for her at the slave market. They do not find her, and Jang Hyun thinks that since she is an officer's wife, she cannot be in a place like the slave market. He then hears the voice of a seller announcing the sale of a Joseon noblewoman, and he approaches. That is when he sees her, and fights to get her back. The seller knocks Jang Hyun out and takes Gilchai away. Jang Hyun wakes up while Riang Yum is tending to his wounds. As soon as he awakens, he returns to look for Gilchai. Gu Jam goes in to talk to her, but she turns him away and asks that Jang Hyun forget he saw him at the market. Gu Jam learns of Zhangzhang's sale, so he journeys to get her back. Jang Hyun arranges a room for Gilchai so he can talk to her. He is angry that she did not look for her and wants to know what happens in Joseon. Gilchai holds that they are nothing to each other, and she has no right to ask for his help. She says he is still the same since he pays to have her for the night, and wants to know what he needs her to do. She asks him not to show her kindness since she cannot repay him and would feel uncomfortable. Jang Hyun tells her he will not do as she asks this time and instead do what he wants. The seller changes his mind and will not sell Gilchai to Jang Hyun. He sends his men to attack Jang Hyun, forcing him to retaliate. He stabs the seller's hand with chopsticks and kills the men he sends to attack him. The seller is forced to accept his deal. Meanwhile, the spy sent by the princess watches the confrontation from the shadows. The seller lets go of all the captives at the market. Jang Hyun takes Gilchai back to his house. He sits outside her door and talks about wondering where their relationship went wrong. He tells her he will take care of her release and get the certificate from the Qing finance office. He later falls asleep outside her door, and Gilchai keeps him company. The following morning, he finds Gilchai and a change of clothes. Riang Yum brings him a change of clothes from Joseon, anticipating that Jang Hyun might need them. Jang Hyun thanks him and says Riang Yum sees right through him. Jang Hyun takes the clothes to Gilchai, but she is not in her room. The slave seller gives back his money and says a royal bought Gilchai, and he could not refuse. The royal is the princess interested in Jang Hyun. The princess thinks she is nothing special. Jang Hyun arrives at the princess' house looking for Gilchai. She asks her servant Lai to take Gilchai away. Seeing desperation in Jang Hyun, the princess tells him a story insinuating that she would rather kill him than let the man she wants be with another woman. The princess pretends not to understand the Joseon language and brings in an interpreter to talk to Gilchai. Gilchai says she must persevere and survive since someone risked his life to save her. She tells the princess she will have to pay if she kills her. The princess asks Lai to whip Gilchai for speaking disrespectfully. The interpreter later approaches Gilchai to ask if she knew Dijim. Elsewhere, Yong Jiolde goes to see the Qing emperor. The emperor wants to know why the provisions from Joseon have not arrived. He is anxious about winning the Battle of Songzhan. The emperor is not in good health. Jiolde asks for an update from the crown prince on the provisions. The crown prince tries to explain the situation, but Jiolde tells him that the emperor says he will not accept the provisions if they arrive late. The crown prince confronts Jiolde, telling him there will be consequences for threatening the crown prince of Joseon. Jang Hyun comes up with a suggestion to solve the issue with the provisions. The suggestion is a plan to get Emperor Khan to release Gilchai. Gu Wonmu tells Yeonjun he sent someone to Simyang to look for Gilchai. Unei feels hopeless since she cannot travel to Simyang to rescue Gilchai, which makes Yeonjun agree to become the scholar's student. He joins because he admires the scholar's power and wants to become powerful enough to help the people of Joseon and the country. Jang Hyun arrives to negotiate the provisions deal for His Majesty. Meanwhile, the princess suggests sending Gilchai to become His Majesty's concubine. She thinks Jang Hyun will give up on Gilchai once he learns that His Majesty has used her. Gilchai agrees but with a hidden agenda. She speaks to him in his language when she is taken to Emperor Khan. She tells him about the fate of Joseon women and the abuse by the wives of his officials. Khan confronts his officials about it, and Gilchai saves the Josian women from torture. He, however, does not believe that she was abducted, so he gives the princess the right to do as she will with her. Jang Hyun arrives and learns of Gilchai's disappearance after the princess took her. He begs for Gilchai's life. The princess asks Jang Hyun to put his life on the line and go hunting with her. Ryang tries to stop him, but Yang Chun tells him they can do nothing since Jang Hyun loves her enough to risk his life. Meanwhile, His Majesty releases Gilchai and allows her to go back to Josian on condition that she does not meet with anyone, especially Jang Hyun. If she does, Jang Hyun will suffer. The princess sets up Gilchai and asks her servant to give her money when she leaves. Jang Hyun arrives at the hunting ground and realizes that the person they are hunting for is Gilchai. The princess says she stole her money and escaped. Her rules are that if she wins, she will let Jang Hyun and Gilchai live, but Gilchai will be her slave forever. If Jang Hyun wins, Gilchai will be free, but the princess will kill Jang Hyun. The princess stabs Jang Hyun's horse, so he must run to Gilchai to win. Seeing his determination to give his life for Gilchai's freedom, the princess chooses to lose but shoots an arrow through Jang Hyun's back. He wins and runs into Gilchai's arms but soon loses consciousness. The princess takes Jang Hyun back to his house. Gilchai confronts her and asks to know what happened to Jang Hyun. The princess lets her go to keep the promise she made to Jang Hyun. She tells Gilchai that she will ensure that someday, Jang Hyun will be hers. Outside the princess' palace, Yang Chun meets Gilchai and takes her to see Jang Hyun. She tends to Jang Hyun until he wakes up. Gilchai thanks him for helping with her release. The episode ends as Jang Hyun lifts his hand to touch Gilchai's face with a smile.